Well, I'm going to read the words so I get it right. It's a long, long while from May to December, and the days grow short when you reach September, and the autumn weather turns the leaves to flame, and I haven't got time for a waiting game. And the wine dwindles down to a precious brew. September, November, and these few precious years I'd share with you. Those vintage years I'd share with you. Well, here's my dilemma. The YouTube video I posted last week, only one person looked at it, a friend of mine. And when I take my videos and I transpose those to my podcast, nobody's reading those either. Nobody is reading them, not even my family and dear friends. They just don't have the time. But one of my sons and his son, even though they're busy and don't seem to have the time to read them, they want me to keep on doing it. And I said, but son, if nobody's listening, it's hard to do it. He said, no, you have to do it. You have to do it. And my grandson said the same. So I guess I'll continue, at least for a while. And I say to them, these vintage years I share with you. My two sons, my grandson, my granddaughters, and my dear, dear, dear wife, whose birthday is today on June 17th. Well, what do I want to say? I remember walking down the pathway from College Hall as a freshman, and a freshman were supposed to wear beanies then, little beanies on top of your head, and I still have mine. And I don't know if I had it on that day, but I was walking down, I heard a voice behind me say, freshman. And I turned, and here was a fellow student, well-dressed. He said, what's your name, freshman? I said, Williams, David Williams. He said, what are you wearing, freshman? And he pointed to my trousers. I said, dungarees. Why? Why do you ask? He said, be advised. We don't dress like that here at Penn. Now, the irony is, in those days when I was an underclassman and poor, really poor, to be well-dressed, a guy wore a blue blazer, a button-down shirt with a tie, khaki pants, and white buck shoes. They were like white bucks. They don't make them anymore, I don't think. But the irony is that today, just short of my 91st birthday, if I had to get dressed up to go to something important, which I couldn't do because I don't walk that well, I would want to wear a blue blazer, a white button-down shirt, a nice rep tie, red and blue with Penn colors, khaki pants, and nice loafers. 91, that was what, like 1,000 years ago. And that pattern still stays with me. But I was a student. I stayed with my grandparents. I lived with my grandparents in the candy and ice cream store, which is a wonderful place to live if you have a taste for ice cream and candy that I do. It was me, Grandma, and Grandpapa, and Uncle Pat and his family, and Carmela, and just one baby then, Anna. And it was really great. But I wasn't part of a lot of things that went on at Penn. And I still have the Penn yearbook, a big, heavy thing that I can hardly pick up anymore. And there were all those guys and all those activities and all those things. And that wasn't me. And guys, young guys with smoking a pipe, 19, 20, 21 years old, with a top coat, smoking a pipe. And I tried to smoke a pipe in those days. Oh God, we were all so young. Yeah. The wine dwindles down to a precious brew. A long time ago. Now, I never joined a fraternity. I was not that kind of a guy. That wasn't my style. But years later, about maybe 15 years ago, when I was about, what was I then? 75 or so. I went to my brother's 70th birthday party. So I guess I would have been 73. My son and I went back east, my son David and we went to my brother John's birthday party. And it was outdoors, and it was a wonderful thing in his backyard, big, expansive backyard with a little 2 or 3 piece music outfit and a bar. And anyway, I was standing there, and I looked over, and over to the side, there was a guy with 2 women talking, and I noticed he had a beautiful ring on, a gold ring, and it sort of caught the sun. And I went over, even though I didn't know the guy, and I introduced myself. I said, I couldn't help notice your beautiful ring. What kind of ring is it? And he said, it's my class ring. I said, oh, a class ring. Where did you go? He said, Penn. I said, oh, what year did you graduate? He said, 56. I said, that's my year. That's the year I graduated. I showed him my class ring. And then he asked me, what house were you in? And I said, without even thinking, my grandfather's. And then I realized he was asking what fraternity I belonged to. Man, that was a long time from college. And he was still trying to identify a stranger by his fraternity. I don't know what to make of that. I loved being at Penn in those days, but maybe this is going on far enough. It's 8 minutes and 45 seconds, so I'll stop for today.